Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. It is November 26th, and I am here to tell you about my stitching today. I hope you've had a good, quiet, restful Sunday. I certainly have. I was able to start stitching this morning on my 13th colony by the Bay. I am stitching this for a prompt in my Daily 30 challenge, and I was to stitch on a whip that had was my most relaxing whip, and I was to tell why. So in addition to this one being on 28 count, I think it's more relaxing because when I stitch on my By the Bay piece, I can almost hear the water lapping up against the shore and the bank, and I love that. I grew up with that, and we had a lake right behind our house when I was a kid, and then our vacationing spot most weekends for my dad to fish at Lake Sinclair, I could hear the lake lapping up at the bottom of the lot that we had. So this is my current By the Bay, and I stitched in this section right here today. I filled in all the water from the mountain all around that little island all the way down to the second little shrub there. So I actually met two prompts today. The final prompt in a different challenge in the Daily 30 group, which was to stitch on something with water, and I stitched 551 stitches for that, and then I stitched another 395 on it for the prompt that I just finished because I only needed 200 stitches. So all total today, today alone has been 734, but then I also had stitched on it some yesterday on that previous prompt. So there's been a whole lot of stitching going on this one, and I am thrilled to show you where I got to. So now I can start right in here on my next time. There's some trees there, a little bit of land there, a fence, that sort of thing. And I have just a little bit of that island left, just to where that house is. That is the page break, by the way, where that house is. In fact, the last window in the house is on the other page. So to finish this page, I only have to do this part right here, and I'll finish a page, and then I'll be on the second page of this pattern, which will be this whole side over here, and hopefully I can finish that next year. That's the goal, and then we'll start part 3. I would love to be able to finish this by June, this part 2 by June, so that I could start on part 3 next year. I think that would be a lot of fun. So that is my stitching for today. I am hoping to get to spend some time with my hubby. I think we're going to go walking, have dinner together, and then we have a couple that we like to watch called the Winds. They sail around the world and try different cultures and different countries and kind of teach you what they're learning along the way. And the channel is, it's a YouTube channel called Gone with the Winds, WYNNS. And so they put up a video usually on Sunday night. And so I'm hoping that we get to watch that this evening. So in the meantime, I hope you're having a great day of stitching. I feel very accomplished with my stitching today. Can certainly see a bit of progress in that, so I'm happy for that. And now I'm going to get busy and close up shop here so that I can begin dinner. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, and I'll talk to you hopefully tomorrow. Happy stitching. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. It is the 27th of November. It is a Monday night, and I am here trying to just share with you a little bit about my cross stitching for today. This is the third time I've started this video. For some reason, every time I get started, my precious husband needs something and yells up the stairs at me or starts talking to Coco right at the bottom of the stairs, and that's all you can hear. So I've told him that I'm filming, so hopefully we can get through this third time. However, today I decided to stitch on a piece that would meet a couple of prompts in my daily 30 group. This is a challenge. I've met all my acrostics, so this is a challenge. And the challenge is about the ASMR and the sounds and textures and things and how that helps people. And so the questions I found fascinating this time, today I stitched for 2 questions. So one was to pick a whip that you felt was the most visually stimulating to you and tell why. And the second one was to stitch on a whip that of your choice, but that you were to talk about what you found the most tactily stimulating about cross stitching. So fortunately for me, I could use the same whip because the first one met the prompt for the visual stimulation, and then I could just keep stitching on it and explain what I liked about cross stitching that I felt was tactile. So here's the whip I chose, and I don't think it'll be a big surprise that I chose it because I find those beautiful colors just absolutely pop and crackle on that dark fabric. And I'm not using the black fabric that's called for, but I am using a navy blue. And these beautiful greens and oranges and the white in the snow and her hat are just popping off of this blue fabric, and I find it gorgeous. So today I put in over 300 stitches. I put in, 400 and something stitches before I ever stopped, and then took a picture and posted it, and then I just kept going from there. My goal was to try to get the stitching on the snow done at the bottom. Now this may or may not be the final look of it. I don't want to do the squared off look. I don't need it to be square. But after I fill in the trees and see how far over this, may go, and get the deer over here, I may come here and make it a little more asymmetrical, to make it more symmetrical. But I like it kind of looking like there's a bit of a snowdrift here and it's flatter over here. I think that's kind of fun with it. But I stitched over 1,100 stitches in here today, so it's obvious about the color why I find this visually stimulating. But the other thing that I answered was, to me, the most tactily rewarding part of stitching is pulling the thread through a really taut fabric, and this is very taut, and you can hear it. It's just this lovely little sound as you pull the floss through. And so that was my answer for that one, and I just kept on stitching on here. So the next time I pull this out, I will probably roll it further toward the bottom so that I can get over here and start working my way back up. And I also have back stitching to do, so I may do some of the back stitching at the bottom before I roll it. We'll see. But I got a lot of work on that today. Made huge progress on that. So was happy about that. Okay, so one of the things that I thought about today is that it's the 28th tomorrow, and the 30th will be here before you know it on Thursday, and I have 2 more hours I need to do on my nativity. So I'm making a commitment that if at all possible tomorrow, I'm going to pull it out first thing while I have the best light, and I'm going to work on nativity and try to get those final 2 hours done for my Whip Go goal. And that way I can move into next month when the Whip Go things are called and only have those last 2. I think it's only 2 things that I have left to do on Whip Go. Yeah, it would be to start Jingle Jolly Joy, and it would be to start Sew Together, my final Sew Together. So that would be part of my December stitching, which will be wonderful. I do want to show you something too. Our group in the North Alabama Stitchers that's doing the monthly bingo, we do it very differently. We have a bingo board, we move the numbers around, we put our whips on there, and then one of the ladies determines a pattern that she would like for us to meet to get bingo. And this is the pattern for December. Isn't that cute? Now each of these is only 100 stitches a piece, but the ones that count toward the bingo are the ones that fall within the shaded areas. So it's not a traditional bingo. I like it. I think it's fun. But what I did for my cross stitch bingo is that I put most of my Christmas whips on here twice so that I get to work on them more. And then I put some things on here as well that are latest new start or whip closest to a finish. And I put my whip go calls on here too to give myself a day when if that's what gets called for my bingo, then it's very easy to pull out my whip go piece that day and just work on it the whole day because that was what I have to meet anyway. So I'm looking forward to that. I mentioned a couple of other things already. The stocking that I'm going to start on the 1st with Ronnie from Garon Stitchery, and then my birthday SAL that I'll be stitching with my friend Glow and others on the 14th of December. So that'll be here before you know it. It will be. I was also talking with my friend Lori recently, and she's getting ready to film her planning video talking about plans for next year. And she and I have sort of challenged each other to do 40 starts next year. Started out kind of as a fun thing, and then we kind of got serious about it and decided we would really try it. So I committed to Lori that I will try to pull together my planning video as soon as possible, and if I can get it this week, so that you'll have it before December gets too far along, in case you want to stitch anything, you know, with me. I would love for you to do that. Well, I have one final prompt in this challenge tomorrow, and it's a whip of choice. It's actually my favorite whip, and then I don't have to do any explanations at all. I just have to stitch on my favorite whip. So I'll have to decide which one's my favorite tomorrow, because I love them all. So anyway, that's my stitching for the day. It's kind of later in the evening now. It's time to go down and relax and hang out with the family. And so I'll be doing that. And I'll hopefully be back to share some stitching with you tomorrow. Happy stitching, everybody. Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, the 28th of November, and I'm here to talk to you about my stitching this morning. I said last night that I was going to come in first thing this morning and pull out Nativity and try to complete my whip go prompt to finish up 5 hours of working on this month, and I did this morning. So let me walk you through what I did. First of all, I wanted to work in my loose threads, my hanging threads. I had accumulated 3 of them, so I wanted to get rid of them. So I did that first, and I'll show you where that got me to. I worked in this one. It was a parked thread because I had stopped with my, you can see where it was rolled to before, and I needed that room. This is the bottom of the side, and then there'll be another square, like up here. So I went ahead and completed that and got that thread out of the way. Then I had a thread over here in the sleeve of the angel, and I went ahead and completed it, and as it turned out, there were only a few stitches, but that was at the page break, and I hadn't looked ahead. I should have done that, and I wouldn't have had a hanging thread all that time. Anyway, and then I had one hanging in her sleeve, and so I finished not only the hanging thread, but I finished all of the blue color in her sleeve. And then I came on over here and I did the first color in the blanket of the baby. I'm so excited. Her cuff is a different color, so I'll start that next time and work my way on over this way. I'm looking forward to getting the baby stitched in her hand and Joseph's hand so that I can make sure that that central piece is done correctly, and then I can, you know, work in finishing their cloaks. And then I can come up here and finish the angels' wings after I have their cloaks and things done. So I'm excited about that. This is one I think really would lend itself best to being worked from the middle out, and I didn't do that. I started in my corner like I usually do. Well, this would have been this one. And because of the border, you would think that would work well, but when you get down into the picture, you realize that this piece needs to really be the focal point. And so now I've kind of swapped and I'm stitching the middle. Loved it. Got 204 stitches in it today, but it took me a little while to do that. It took me longer than usual because I had a little issue. So I do want to mention this to you in case you're ever stitching a Teresa Wentzler. Teresa Wentzler's patterns are actually beautifully done. They are large print. You can see them without any trouble whatsoever. And the pages of the pattern are actually an 8x10 for each page. It fills up that page. So I make a working copy so I can mark as I go, because that's how I count my stitches. And I've taped my copy together, so I have this huge copy that I'm working from, but I try to do that so the center is beautifully aligned and I don't have to worry about anything. Well, what I didn't know when I taped this together is that when I made my working copy on the photocopier, I lined it right up on the edge thinking that it would fit because it was an 8x10 piece of paper. But unfortunately, I discovered today that the last line of the first page on the left-hand side of the pattern for both 1 and 3 did not print the final line down the middle. And on the second page and fourth page where you've got the little grayed out area, there was one line grayed out to show you the overlap. Well, that printed on that page, but it didn't print on the previous page. So I was butting everything up against itself thinking that that was my overlap, and it wasn't. That was, I actually have to stitch the line that is grayed out to get them all there. And so it took me a little bit. I don't know whether I've miscounted some previously on other parts, or whether I knew it and forgot it or what, but it took me a little bit today to figure all that out, and I got that done. Then I ran into a situation where I have, you know, I pre-prepare my blends for Teresa Wentzler by splitting out the 6-stranded floss of the 2 colors and matching the 2 colors and then wrapping them in pairs on a bobbin, just like I do any other color. But I have them situated, you know, so that I can pull off a pair at a time to use them, and I put the blend on my bobbin. And to me that is easiest because when that color is called, when that symbol is called, I just grab the bobbin, unwrap a pair, and I start stitching just like I would any other bobbin. I don't have to stop and make the pairs. Well, today I found out I had an empty bobbin because I took the very last strand off when I was stitching, and it was one of my part threads. Because I hadn't used it, my little bobbin was still sitting there empty, and I had to fill it today. So I had to do some of that, a little bit of maintenance today. So it took a little bit more time. But you know what? That was okay. Today was the day. I had put this one on my list. This is what I wanted to do today, and I was in the mood to do it. And I'm thrilled with the progress. And because I got 204 stitches, I can actually use it for another prompt, and that will finish up that challenge in the Daily 30 group. And I don't think I'm going to look and see what the next challenge is that came up Friday. Yeah, but I'm not sure that I'll start it, because I may just want to be able to just stitch on what I want to until the end of the month and get ready for December. So that's my stitching for this morning. Well, it is the 28th, as I said, almost at the month's end. I have completed all my acrostics. I've completed my challenges I've been participating in. and I have started planning for December, and I've got everything planned except my acrostic for the Daily 30 group, which will be the monthly challenge. I'm not sure what all that's going to be since it's going to be December, and I think they're going to do something maybe a little different this month. I'm not sure. They've kind of hinted that it might be different. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that is. And in the meantime, I'm just going to pull out one of my whips that I want to put some work into and get it closer to a finish. And if I get any progress on that today, I'll definitely come back and share it with you. I hope you're having a great start to your week. I hope you're getting a lot of stitching here at the end of the month and that you can wrap it up nicely. And I hope you've got great plans for the Christmas season and for stitching in December. Happy stitching, everybody. Welcome back, everyone. It is later in the evening on November 28th, Tuesday, and I'm back to share with you my stitching that I was able to accomplish today. I decided today that I was going to start sort of getting in the Christmas spirit and look at my Christmas whips and see if there was one that I really wanted to concentrate on and get a little work on, maybe push it toward a finish. And I'm excited to say I was able to do that today. Coco and I took a nice leisurely walk this afternoon, but other than that, she's been very quiet and kind of napping, waiting on a nice long walk that she's on with my husband now. My husband's been at the church all day. We're getting close to putting on the Christmas tree this year, and my husband has been very involved with helping them to decorate all of the area behind the tree, the railings going up to the tree. He will later in the week be in there putting out the wooden blocks in for everybody's place to stand. I think I've shared that with you before, but those of us who are not all the same height, we are standing on big blocks of wood that make us the same height. So my husband's going to be very tied up this week working on the tree, and then next week he'll be singing in the tree. I chose not to sing this year, but I am hoping to get to hear it and see it myself. So today, while he was busy working at the church, we weren't doing anything here together, so it gave me plenty of time for stitching. And I pulled out my hands-on design, Wally the Walrus. I started this when I was at the Dying to Stitch retreat because Kathy was our guest designer, and I wanted to be working on one of her pieces while I was there with her at the retreat. And so I did start this and worked on it one whole day while I was there, and I've worked on it a little bit since. But today I decided just to buckle down and make this my focus for the day. And I'm happy to share with you that I have a finish. Isn't he precious? Now, I will tell you, my pieces are not perfect. I have mistakes usually on just about everything I stitch. There'll be some little small something. But today it's going to be so obvious to any of you who have stitched it before. I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I did. I counted off the wrong white X for this branch, and I put it too far over. And I didn't want to frog it all out. And so I just added a baby fish. So instead of 4, there's 4 adult and a baby fish. Anyway, so that'll be my own private little whimsy for myself. I don't think it's going to change a thing, but I will get a chuckle out of it every time I see it, I guarantee you. But I think Wally the Walrus is quite cute. And it looks like there are stars, so it's at night, I would assume. And you can see all the little lights on the trees. The ones around the ornament are decorated, and those that aren't look like they're more in the nature right here. And then these are decorated. But anyway, very cute piece. It's part of the Polar Bear Plunge series. That was the first one, the Polar Bear. And so now I've done 2, and I will be able to do the other 4 all on this piece of fabric, which will be fabulous. So how does that put me going forward? How am I doing, for getting ready for 2024? Well, the good news is that means I have only 17 active whips. I have 2 whips that are inactive. One is Mermaid and one is my Chatelaine. But for my active whips, I only have 17 remaining. That is awesome. I love it. I had hoped to be under 20 coming to the end of the year. Now, I know I'm going to have a new start on the 1st and on the 14th, but these are both smalls, and I'm hoping to finish both of them by the end of December. So I have one new start on Whip Go. So even if I don't finish it before the end of December, I will only have 18 whips going into 2024. So that is a big goal that I've met for myself, and I'm very, very happy about that. I've had a great day of stitching, and I hope you have. And I'm going to go now and get some supper on, and I will talk to you guys, hopefully, in the next day or 2. Happy stitching, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. I am here to tell you about my stitching this morning. I'm not stitching for a prompt today. Today I am stitching just for pleasure as far as whatever I wanted to touch. And I have been getting close to a finish, or closer to a finish, on this piece for a little while. I can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's still a ways off, but I'm beginning to get an itch to get it finished. But since I had to raise my year of whip number from 6 to 8 for the next coming year, I decided to put this one on my year of whips. So I'm not going to push really hard and finish it, because I want to keep it for next year, because I think it'll be a good one. I'll know that I'll be able to make it, I believe. But this is my Autumn in the Country, and today I stitched over 400 stitches in it, and I did the 3 shades of grass here with the little red flowers, and then the brown dirt that's over here. And I stopped there since it had been quite a good number of stitches in there. I just wanted to put a little more into the picture in the middle, because this is quite heavy with stitching. There's a scarecrow here, there are 2 trees here, a ladder, there's some 1/1. There's a black cat and a bird in here that are going to be 1/1 stitching. And then once I finish all of this up here, there's a whole row of pumpkins across here. But I can't do the pumpkins until I had this border, or this earth row there, so that it creates the space that I have left for the pumpkins. And then of course I have to finish all the motifs, the flower and acorns that are in here. But I'm trying to get it, down to about right here, so I can pick up where I left off and keep going. I enjoyed it thoroughly this morning, just stitching on that. I hope you're having a great time watching the people that you enjoy watching. I'm grateful to be one of them. And I hope that your December gets off to a terrific start. Happy stitching, everybody. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Today is November the 30th, and I am taking some time out today to film my plans video for you. I wanted to sort of tell you what I'm going to participate in next year and share with you all the new starts that involves. And I won't be sharing all my whips today, because you've seen them all year long, and you'll see them all year coming up. But I think you're pretty familiar with the 18 or 17 that I have left now. So I thought today's video, in the essence of time, I would just make it about my plans and the new starts that involves. So I hope you're okay with that. Let's start by just saying that this year I plan on participating in some new things and some old things that I've been enjoying. So without even, probably doesn't even need to be said, but I'll go ahead and include it. I will be participating again in my acrostics with 24 Hours of Cross Stitch. That is run, it's a Facebook group run by Jen Lee, and there's another acrostic I do every month, and that's from the Monthly Magazine Challenge group. That is run by Carolyn Zook and Robin Hall, and it's an open group, so is 24 Hours of Cross Stitch. You can join them and come and enjoy the fun. In addition to those two groups, I'm in a group called the Cross Stitchers Journal and Daily 30 SAL. That's a long name, but it is a closed group because that group awards virtual tokens that you get to buy things with. And so they have to keep it a manageable number. And they just had an open enrollment this past November, and perhaps they will next November. So if you are interested and intrigued by some of the things that I participate in there, then look for it next November. See if you want to join. So those will be acrostics for me, and in some cases challenges in the Daily 30 group. In addition to that, I'm going to continue with WhipGo. I love WhipGo. WhipGo is a Facebook group run by JC Marie, and if it's an open group, you can join it. She usually sets up a new title of it for the year, so the next one would be WhipGo 2024, but you can join the one that's there now and just wait to start, and that would be fine too. But you hear a lot of us talk about WhipGo. It's a great way to put stitches in your current whips. Jason Marie created it in order to try to get some of her whips moved forward. So it's been a great fun. I've enjoyed it for several years, and this past year, this year, 2023, I had two WhipGo boards. One was seasonal pieces, and the other was general, which is everything else. This coming year, in 2024, I'm going back to one board because I'm doing some extra things. In addition to this year being in the Year of Whips, which is a Facebook group run by Melanie Watkins, or an event run by Melanie Watkins. Her channel name is Soulful Stitching, and you can go and follow her and join her event of Year of Whips. It starts, I think, in January 1st, but you have to turn in, she'll put in the event when you have to turn in your list. But you basically put a number of whips on a list. The minimum, I think, this year was 6. Your idea or your goal is to finish them, but in order to be eligible for her gift certificate that she generously gives each year, you have to complete at least half of what you put on your list. Some people have been very aggressive and have put 12 or 15. Whatever you put on your list, you just have to finish at least half of it to qualify. I take the conservative route because I do a lot of different things, and so I do the minimum. But each year that I've participated, I have completed all of them. So there you go. It's been good. It's been good for me. So I'm going to do that again next year. There are a couple of other things that I'm going to do just myself, and I'll talk to you about them as I go through, because I'm kind of going to run through the year with what my plans are. January. Let's talk about January. So in January, several things happen. January 1st, I'm going to start a new start with my friends Mary and Donna. This is called Oh Tomato. It's a hands-on design. We got it at our retreat at Dying to Stitch. And the reason we're starting at January 1st is that January is a month that a lot of Flosstubers, a lot of stitchers are starting a sampler on the 1st, and the goal is to try to finish it by the 30th, or 31st rather, so that you can get blessings for your family. It's a great sentiment. I think that's precious. I don't know that I'll finish this one by the 31st of January, simply because I'm going to be stitching so many things, but I'm definitely going to participate in it. And if it's doable, I'll do it. I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on myself. That's a theme I want you to understand. I'll tell you all about these plans. These are plans to keep me organized and focused and pushing forward. But if some of them don't happen, it's okay. Nothing bad will happen to me if they don't happen. So there's not pressure there. But here's my Ode Tomato, and I will be starting it with my friends and with a lot of other Stitchers starting samplers on January 1st. Also on January 1st starts one of the 2 large challenges that we do in the magazine, a monthly magazine challenge group, and that's called Bringo. Bringo is a wonderful event that Carolyn and Robin have written, and it's 25 prompts, 1 per day, and Carolyn calls the number the night before of what you're to stitch on the next day. So you make a bingo board, you put all of your things on the bingo board, and whenever she calls the number, you have to do the whip that you matched with that question. Now, in this Bringo event, I have some new starts, so I will show you what those new starts will be. Okay, one of the new starts for my Bringo is to start the first berry in my series from Erica Michaels of the 12 Berries of Christmas. So I'll start berry number 1 when it's called on Bringo. And that brings up another thing I'm going to do this year. I've been talking about it already, but I'm going to do an event with my friend Dee, 12 ornaments in this year, 1 per month. And I chose to do this series so that I make myself start them all, because I would love to have them stitched as close as possible by the end of the year and make them for next year. So number 1 berry will be started in January whenever it's called. Berries 2 through 12 will be started once a month as part of that series with Dee. I've shared these berries with you before, so I won't pull all of them out and show them to you, but there you go. Another new start in my Bringo is for a friend of mine named Sandy, and she lives in Florida. She and her husband are the couple that we stay with. If we get to vacation anywhere near them, we'll try to spend a day or 2 with them. And she and her husband live near the beach, and so I want to make her this series of Christmas ornaments. And so in my Bringo, I have to start 1 of them. Don't know that I'll get all of this done this year, but I'm going to get at least 1 started. The next new start during Bringo is going to be another gift, and it's for my friend Cheryl. My friend Cheryl is the one that I stitch all the Raggedy Ann things for. And so this will be no surprise when you see what it is. This is the December quilt. It's by Paula Vaughn, but she has a quilt for all seasons. That's the name of the book. I know Jessie Marie, I think, just finished possibly this one. I know it was an autumn one, and I'm thinking it was that one. Forgive me if I'm wrong, Jessie Marie, but I'm gonna do the December one because there's a little Raggedy Ann right there. And I know that my friend Cheryl would love this nostalgic piece. So that's what I'm doing for her. And I'm going to do mine on Embellish, which is a fabric of the month from Atomic Ranch. It's got just a slight tint of green to it, and I think that'll look really pretty with those colors. And the last new start for Bringo, oh no, I'm sorry, there's 2 more. So the 4th new start for Bringo will be my Crochet A Go-Go. And you can do this either in these small pillows, or you can do it in an entire piece that's a sampler. And I'm looking real quick to see, yeah, there it is. Let me see if I can do this without showing you part of the pattern. There's the whole sampler. I think it's gorgeous, but I don't want the whole big sampler. Some of it's repetitive. So I really like the way that they've broken it up in here. And my goal is to stitch at least one of these combinations for this year. This may be something that I stitch one on, you know, a little bit each year till I get what I want stitched out of it. And now the 5th start for my Bringo will be Red Work Pairs. This is by Annie B's Folk Art. And the reason I pull this one forward to start is because the prompt in here calls for something monochromatic. And since I have finished my pandemic, I don't have anything monochromatic going on. So this will be a monochromatic that I will start during Bringo. So that gets us through January. In addition, of course, will be my Whip Go calls, as you know. And so I will have several calls in Whip Go. And so I will pause just a moment and get all of those together and get them pre-opened so it'll be smooth and won't kill your ears. And I'll be right back and we'll go over Whip Go. Okay, I think I have all of them opened up, so I can share them with you now. I have made some substitutions on this already, and I do want to say one thing. I have a birthday, and I have Christmas coming in December. And my sister Stephanie is always very kind and usually spoils me with stitching things. And I don't know what all I may be receiving. So I reserve the right to substitute anything out if I get something that I have absolutely got to start. So please understand that. I know you will. And but for now, this is what is on my Whip Go board for new starts. In addition to most of my whips that are on here, I have 10 new starts on my Whip Go board. So the first one is going to be for the St. Patty's Day. If you recall, when I mentioned earlier this year when I started talking to you about starting my planning, I went through all of my stash and organized them into categories. And I looked to see which categories I had the least things stitched in for decorating in my home. And St. Patty's Day was one of them. And so I am starting 2 different new starts off of this pattern. This is a shepherd's bush, and I'm going to do the 2 that are made up into the small square pillows. That is May Luck Find You, which is this little one here, and then Luck Be With This House, which is this one. I'm doing them both on a beautiful Jobelin called Water Lily. And I have already gotten the button packs, so we're good to go there. The second thing I have on my Whip Go board, and of course these may not be started in this order, it's whenever they're called, but I'm just reading across my chart to show you what I'm going to be starting. But this is Be Thankful. I think it's a beautiful piece. This is by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. And if you recall, when I shared this with you a few months back, I mentioned that I had done a complete color conversion. And so I'll be doing it more in the colors of, you know, plums and violet and teal and the jewel tones that I like. But that's Be Ye Thankful. And the next one I'm going to start is called Lamb. It's also a shepherd's bush. And this one is done on 10 count fabric, which I don't have. I have a 14 count, so mine will be a little bit smaller. But I think it's going to be precious. And I'm going to start this during Whip Go for Easter. And then it's my beloved, can't wait to start this, Spring Quaker. I am using the Valdonis. I am going to split them, and I'm going to do them two-stranded. So I think I will enjoy it a lot more by doing it that way. I've decided to do mine on a beautiful green sage 28 count Lugana. And this is, I think it may be a Picture This Plus. I'm not sure. But I think it'll be beautiful with the Valdani threads. Then I'm going to do a piece that is for Valentine's Day. And it's one of the largest Valentine projects I've ever started. And it will be my first curry about a curry. And it's called All You Need Is Love, which I think is interesting because that's a Beatles song. And if you look at the very top, it says Lonely Hearts Club. So I do believe this is a nod to the Beatles. But anyway, I will be stitching that. I'm excited about getting started on that during Whip Go as well. Okay, next that I have on my list is a series that I've never finished. It's my wordplay, and this one is June wordplay. And okay, there you can see it a little bit better. And so far, I actually have it in the called for colors. Since I've been stitching a lot of them in the called for colors, I will go ahead and do that again. And that was a last minute addition. I don't even have the fabric pulled yet, but the threads are there. So I'll check on that in a few minutes and when we finish here, and I'll make sure I have it fully kitted so it's ready to go. And then I'm going to do a project that I'm excited about. Remember I said earlier today that in our Daily 30 group, the reason it's a closed group is because you get to purchase stash with your tokens, your virtual tokens. And I was able to purchase one of these patterns, not knowing that it was a series of 3. I thought it was the entire sampler when I purchased the pattern. But the sampler I'm talking about is the Zephyr Hill sampler. It was a mystery sampler from Summer House Stitchworks several years ago. I'm not even sure if there's a date on here. But when I got my pattern in the mail after selecting it and paying for it with my little tokens, it was only one of the 3 that I needed for the sampler. It was one section of it. So I went on a quest and I was able to locate the other 2, especially with the help of my friend Julie McConnell of Reflections Framing and Stitching. If you ever need anything and don't have a local store, give her a try. And so I got the other 2 patterns. So they're in 3 parts. The beautiful part about it too is that box lid is different on each one. And so that's another pattern that I can stitch, and I think they're beautiful. And I probably will want to do that at some point. But I'm doing my sampler on this gorgeous green fabric called Eucalyptus. And it was a fabric of the month from the Atomic Ranch group last year. And I think it'll just be perfect for that sampler. So I'll get started on it. Then the next one I'm going to be doing is In Autumn. I'm not sure how to pronounce that correctly, but it's a collection tra-la-la. I think it's precious. Whimsical. It's a unique color palette. They're all very muted, darker, gray, black, and brown. Nothing bright in there at all. But I like it. I like the whimsiness of it, and it's just very different. And so that's going to be one of my new Whip Go starts for next year. Keeping the autumn theme going, the Halloween theme for the year. So the last one that I have is sort of a new start, sort of not. It's a continuation of a pattern, but I am considering each of these an individual little section. So this is called Stitch Box. It is a Jeanette Douglas, and I did this one this year. And so my goal is to probably do this one or this one, probably this one, this year. And then maybe next year I could do one of the other two or both to finish it up. I don't know, but I think this is beautiful. And I would like to put more work into it. So, and being that it's a Jeanette Douglas, you know, it has specialty stitches, and that's why it's going a little slow. I'm doing one at a time, tackling it one at a time. So, let me put all of these away, and I'll be right back with the rest of the year. Okay, so now I want to talk to you a little bit about my May Mondays. In May, there are 4 weeks, and I intend to start a new project on the Monday of each week. So on Monday, 5/6, I want to start the first tree in my series by Hello from Liz Matthews. I'm collecting these as she's publishing them. I've got through day 8, I believe, so we will see, you know, how long it takes me to collect them all. But I can go ahead and get started on the first one in May, and that's what I intend to do. Then on 5/13, I want to start Spring Awakens. This is a Brenda Gervais. I think it's beautiful, and I would like to stitch that. And so that I will start on 5/13. On 5/20, I will start both my ornament for the month, but I'm also going to start another one called Merry Christmas. It's a hands-on design. I think it's something I should be able to finish in a week, so I would really like to get that one done so I can use it next Christmas, and I'll be working on that. And then on the 27th of May, I have a huge new start, and I've shown you this as a haul when I came back from the retreat, but I have this project bag to stitch on, and I'm going to stitch sheep from Shepherd's Bush on a project bag and see how I like it. So I am looking forward to that one. Then in June, I need to start another birthday stitch. And my next birthday stitch is going to be from Hands On Design. happy birthday. And I'm going to stitch it on this beautiful dusk. I think that's gorgeous. And if I have an opportunity later in the year to do another birthday stitch, I have some really quick stitches in here in my bag. And I will choose probably to do the ice cream because my husband loves ice cream. And I'm looking at a way to maybe put these in a different layout, maybe put the words to one side and make it a pillow so that I could have 4 little pillows instead of the, you know, tall bookmark kind of thing. But so when I need a new start, when I can get into another new start for birthday, I will. And I'll just keep adding to it each year, hopefully one new one a year, till I get them all done. So that brings us to Christmas in July. So in Christmas in July, I plan on working on 4 new starts. Again, I'm going to do 1 a week. The first one is going to be the second tree. I didn't have it far. I knew it was handy. So here is the second tree. I'd like to get it started in Christmas in July. And I'm trying to keep them in order, so bear with me. Let me put it right back in. Okay. So for the second week in my Christmas in July focus, I will be starting Père Noël or Père Noël. I'm not sure how to say that. I don't speak French. I'm sorry. But this is a hands-on design piece that I picked up again at my retreat. And I just love it. And I want to stitch it. And I'm seriously considering taking part of that dark fabric that I'm going to do the happy birthday on and using the other half for this. So that's week 2. Week 3 is going to be another sweater. This is Noel in blue, and if you recall, I've stitched this one. And so now I will pick one of the other 3 to stitch, probably this one. I'll just take them in order, I guess. But that's the one I plan on stitching. And I will do it on the same fabric. You can see here where I did the first one. And so I will just drop down here or next to it 1. This is a color and cotton fabric. And it's called light brown sugar. I think it's beautiful. So I'm going to do the second sweater, start the second sweater on that one. Then for the 4th week in July, for my Christmas in July, I will do Good Tidings. These are from the Colorado Cross Stitcher. And she has a group of about 3 or 4 of these that came together. Sherry did, and I have them all kitted with the floss. And so I'm going to start one of them in my Christmas in July. And that's the one I thought I would start with. Then there's the start of, I have to do a small for my Stitching in the Wild exchange. And so I have it on here, so count 1 for that. But I'm not going to share it. I'll share it after it's stitched and gifted. But I have one on the books for that. And then I have 1 new start in AB Singo. And I had it originally to be another one of the Christmas sweaters. But I don't know that I want to start 2 of them at one, within a month of each other if I haven't finished one. So that one is a question mark as to whether I will swap it out for something else or not. on the AB Single board because I have not made up that board. So that is kind of up for just to wait and see, I guess. Then in September, the other big thing that starts, in addition to AB Singo, is my new plan of participating with Jergita in her 3 months to the finish line. I've wanted to do this for a couple of years and didn't think about it in time and had so many other things going that I couldn't stop and refocus. So this year I'd wanted to plan on it from the very beginning. And I think I've explained this maybe before, but she basically picks 6 whips and she numbers them she puts a picture of each of them on a chart, and she just numbers them 1 through 6. And she takes a die and she rolls it, and whatever number comes up, that's the one she stitches on for 2 or 3 days, or until she hits a goal or until it's finished. And then she, does rolling the die again and stitches the next one. And the whole point is to stitch on them until you finish them by the end of the year. It's like a focus on a finish of those 6 things that she would like to get off her whip list. She also puts a couple, 2 or 3 alternatives on her list so that when she finishes one, that number, is blank. And so she will either assign that number to one of the remaining ones if she still has a lot of stitching to do on it, or she will substitute in a new one that she would like to put in the group to get some work on it, so that she keeps enough variety, going on. So I plan on having 6, and I plan on having 2 or 3 alternatives, but I'm going to wait until September to pick those because I want to see where I'm at with all my whips and what I think I might be able to finish by the end of the year if I do that. And then we will go into December, and December is going to be a wrap-up month. It's going to be trying to focus on those ornaments to get them finished, the 12 if I can. If I have a start at all, it will be my birthday start, and I don't know what that will be. That is a mystery at this point. So that leaves me to tell you about my year of whips. In Melanie Watkins' most recent video, she talked about the little bit of changing she wants to do for the year of whips for 2024. And the only change really is, instead of a minimum of 6 as it was this year, there's going to be a minimum of 8. And even though you still only have to finish half of them, but I've come up with my 8, and I'll share those with you now. My year of whip 8 is Royal Games 1 by Mirabilia, my Spring Quilt by the Stony Creek Collection, Small Gift by Imaginating, Halloween Quaker by Leela's Studio, Miss Christmas Eve, which is a Mirabilia, 13th Colony Part 2, which is a By the Bay piece, Autumn in the Country, which is a Just Nan, and then a recent start, Jingle Jolly Joy by Misty Purcell. So I secretly hope I can finish all of those next year, but in order to participate in Melanie's program, to be in her drawing at the end of the year, I have to get at least 4 of them done. So I think those are some good plans. I think gives me a lot of variety, a lot of things to work toward. I have a big variety in my new starts, and I'm looking forward to each and every one of them. It's funny because I could probably tell you right now that I have 6 more I'd really like to do, but I didn't have a really good slot for them. So perhaps a couple of those that I said were up in the air. It might be, one or two of those 6 that I have kind of waiting. I just enjoy cross stitching so much. It's so relaxing for me, and it's so creative, and I love using it to decorate my home And the more I get completed, the more decorations I have to work through and use and enjoy. And so if there's any of these events that you would like to participate in, or if I have shown any patterns that you have that you've been wanting to start, you have an idea of when they are, and if you'd love to join me, I would love it if you could. So I think next year should be a great year of stitching. We'll see. Well, I've been talking a lot. Hopefully you've enjoyed seeing all the new starts that are coming up, and hopefully there's some of it that you can stitch along with. So I will let you get back to what you were doing. Thanks for sharing it with me. Thanks for letting me tell you all about my plans. And I'm going to go over there now and get a little bit of stitching done today. It's the last day of the month. I have a piece that I want to do a little bit of work on just so that I can get it a little bit closer to a finish. And then I'm going to put it away, and I'm going to look at December, and I'm going to get everything ready to go for starting in the morning with my stocking with Ronnie's SAL, and then of course my birthday start on the 14th with my friend Glow. So I want to make sure everything's good. The fabric is serged, all the threads are there. I just want to double check everything. And I may even do the counting and, you know, put a pin in the first stitch or put in the first stitch so that when it comes time to get started, I can just pick it up and go. Well, enjoy your stitching, everybody, and enjoy your planning if you are a planner. And I look forward to your planning videos. Happy stitching. Good morning, everybody. It's about, I don't know, 10:30 or so in the morning, and I have answered all the comments that have come in so far today and have done the random comment picker so that I could get the lucky recipients for the 7 patterns that I'm giving away for our celebration. And my thank you to you guys for being subscribers. So in the essence of time, because the video is long with my planning video in here, I did not record for you all of the random selections, but you've seen me do that many times. You know how I do it. So I'm going to just call out here the names of the recipients and hope that you are watching, because since I've learned that people are going in and putting fake comments in people's videos telling unsuspecting individuals that they've won something when they haven't, I've quit doing that because I used to say, you know, you won, give me your address or go watch the video, that kind of thing. And anyway, so today I'm not putting comments on your comments. So I hope that you are watching and that you will be able to send me your mailing address. My email is in the drop-down box, and you can just email me your mailing address. And if you would, since your name may be different from your YouTube name, if you will indicate to me which one you won so I can make sure I match you up correctly, okay? That would be a big help. All right, so let's get started. Number 1 was Celebrate, and that's the Madame Chantilly tiered tray. And the recipient of that will be Carol Sherwood 4013. And I was so tickled when I saw this comment because Carol said in her comment that she has 2 kitties at home that are 18 years old and they've had them their whole life. And this tray has 2 little kitties in it. So that was perfect. That was meant to be. That was wonderful to see that happen. Number 2 is for the sampler. This is the Silver Creek one. And the lucky recipient there is Joanne Howard It's JOANNEHUARD 11. So Joanne, congratulations. For the Modern Folk embroidery piece, that is going to be Diane McClure 6884. That's Diane McClure 6884. So that brings us to Alphabet. Alphabet is the drawn thread piece, and that is Stitchin' Mommy. Congratulations, Sarah. And then number 5 was Buckley, and Buckley was the P. Buckley Moss piece, and that was Christine Guzone. Forgive me if I mispronounced that, but it's KristineGuzzone. And this was another one of those comments that when I saw it pop up, I thought, oh, this is perfect. All the stars have aligned, because Christine mentioned in her comment that this P. Buckley Moss pattern was her unicorn chart. Oh, it just made my heart so happy to see that you won. So number 6 is Refuge, and that's Lisa Wiley 6107. Lisa Wiley 6107. And the last one is Sheep, and that's really, the name of the pattern is Loving Others. It's the beautiful sampler that have the sheep in the field. And this is Karen Balian, or Balian. It's KarinBalian 5150. So Carol, Joanne, Diane, Sarah, Christine, Lisa, and Karen, please email me your mailing address, and I will get these out to you as soon as I get your address. Congratulations, everybody, and thanks to everyone who participated in the celebration, and thanks again to all of you for subscribing. Happy stitching.
What is it? It's that big dog up there. What are we gonna do? Coco, you wanna go? Nope.